Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Jeffrey Williams. My name is Judge Rashida Oliver. You are here on a bench, what we call our benchmark calendar for Fulton County Superior Court. Be aware that on this calendar you are here because you have been indicted under 22 SC 182273 for conspiracy to violate the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act and participation in criminal street gang activity. I brought you forward so that you can be put on notice that for the felony charges that you receive, you are to be presented before the judge, Honorable Judge Earl Glanville, at the next available calendar that will be presented in courtroom 8F at 9:30 a.m. The date at which you are to appear at this time, I am not aware of. But be aware that you have the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself while you are there and anywhere else. Anything that you say can be used against you. It is my understanding that you are being represented by Attorney Brian Steele and the District Attorney's Office, Don Geary, are also on. So I wanted to make sure that you were fully aware of that. Eddie Geary, is there anything else that you would need to add? And then I will hear from Attorney Brian Steele.
Judge, respectfully, I think you've already stated that there's not a bond issue. There's not really a first appearance other than you're verifying his counsel, which would handle the first appearance issue. One thing I want to put on the record, Judge, and thank you for giving me the opportunity, is at an appropriate time, we're going to file an objection or notice of objection to Attorney Steele. While he's a brother attorney, he has represented multiple people on the indictment, and we feel that a conflict would exist, and we just want the record clear on that. At the appropriate time, we'll move forward with that.
All right.
What's good, y'all? It's Coffee. Tapping back in with another one, man. A bit of an update here on Young Thug, YSL, Gunna, the RICO case, all this, the indictment. Got some things to break down for y'all. It's kind of wild, man. You know, as we keep referring back to the past when we're speaking on this case and this issue, you know what I'm saying, as I brought up before, and it's no secret, like, this is not like super breaking news that when it comes to a RICO, the feds or, you know, the state authorities use the case to take down a group of individuals, you know what I'm saying, an organization that they, you know, more or less have been wanting to lock the fuck up. Like, yo, they're a menace to society. They're a thorn in the side of law and order, etc., etc. As we go through this blog and this info on this one, man, we're going to see that the state of Georgia has really had their eye on YSL, all the affiliates, everyone, these 28 co-defendants, and have been playing like for the long game, you know, like in a boxing match. What is it, 12 rounds? You know what I'm saying? You might win a couple, I might win a couple. That's the way they're looking at it. But in the end, they're trying to get that KO or win by points. A long timeline to go over pertaining to some things here that we're going to get right into, man. But real quick, first you heard Thug in court, Young Thug in court. Seems he's got no bond. And it seems Gunna is indeed still free at this time, although is in the indictment, facing, from my understanding, far lesser charges than Young Thug and many of the other co-defendants on the indictment. But you basically heard the judge say, hey, you know, this is just a formality, this arraignment. You're going to go to a superior court that's going to handle this indictment, this case, the RICO. And then you heard him talking about how Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, is that your real name or is that your stage name, bro, right? Who we saw talking on the news, you know, like, what he say? I'm going to fight. My client didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to fight to prove his innocence till the last drop of blood, right? He's getting extra theatrical with it. But hey, these types of times, this kind of press, you got to go all the way in. You know what I mean? Like, this is some ish out of a crime drama. But they are intending to get him up off the case, which I guess he seems to be a pretty proactive, aggressive, good attorney. There's more to that footage. I didn't want to, just draw it all out and play it all for you at the beginning. We'll jump back into at the end and you'll hear him respond to it as he, does not intend to back down from these prosecutors. But, they're saying, hey, it's a conflict of interest. He's represented multiple co-defendants on this indictment. And it's kind of wild, man. Like if y'all used to watch The Wire, you guys remember Stringer, Bell, Bird, the whole Barksdale crew, and I think even later on the Stanfield crew or whatever all used Maury Levy, right? And in the end, I think Levy even might have went down himself. You know what I mean? He was almost like the lawyer was a part of the team. He was privy to certain info. Sometimes he say, yo, let me step up out the room or whatever. It's wild. It's like, it almost kind of feels like that's what the prosecutors were. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but let me know what y'all think. It felt like they were saying, yo, this guy's a part of the team. It's a conflict of interest. We got to get him up out of here, I mean, listen, to have an attorney that you can truly trust, that's always on call and you gonna know is gonna come and bang out for you when necessary and ain't gonna back down or fall for none of the tricks and knows all the loopholes and rules and regulations. That's priceless, right? But again, we'll jump back into the rest of that court stuff at the end of the video. Make sure to comment with your thoughts on that. They're talking about they don't even have an official date for the next court date and everything. So it seems like Thug is just chilling behind bars until further notice. And it's really no surprise when they're saying, yo, this guy is one of the shot callers. He's one of the founders and all that, right? Like, no surprise at all. But if this attorney, does able to remain on the case, I got a feeling, I don't know, I wouldn't be shocked if we were able to see him finesse some kind of move and get Young Thugga bail and get him up out of custody, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, and real quick, I think Gunna actually might have just turned himself in. I don't know, but regardless, let's get into what we're talking about here. This is pretty wild. What's been hitting the news now. We got to go all the way back to 2015. And like I was talking about how the prosecutors are like, we're going to get the last laugh. We're going to get the W in the end. We know Young Thug has been charged for a couple different situations, was able to get up out of that, beat the case, or just not even let it fully go there. Like the lawyers deaded it before charges actually came up. We go back to 2015, way back, Birdman and Lil Wayne are beefing, and Young Thug, who was fucking with Birdman on the Rich Gang tip and all that, was like inserted in the beef. And if you guys recall, he originally was going to title his first project, what was it, Carter 6? And he was really pushing Lil Wayne's buttons. He was like, nah, it ain't a diss. That's my idol. You know what I mean? And Birdman and Wayne are engaged in this heated beef, not talking to each other. Wayne says, yo, Birdman, you got to come up off that bread you owe me. And Young Thug's chilling with Birdman, kind of laughing, mocking Lil Wayne. In the end, he had to change it to Barter 6. But in the midst of all this, I'm sure everyone can recall when Lil Wayne's tour bus was shot up on I-85 in Atlanta. Well, Jimmy Winfrey, a.k.a. Pee Wee Roscoe, who been fucking with Thugga for the longest time. I forget, what was that one group? I can't remember that group that T.I. was involved in too, and I think Pee Wee was a part of it, like Cash something. I can't remember right at the moment. Someone hit the comments and let me know, you know what I'm saying, if you know the name off the top of your head. But anyways, he ended up being the one that a warrant came out for his arrest. He turned himself in. Originally, like, there was no arrest made. It took a little bit of time. And in the original stages of the criminal complaints and stuff like that, Thug and Birdman's name were both on the paperwork as well, but no charges ever came up from them. And what's kind of crazy too it kind of always had me like, damn, how did Birdman get up out of this? Is Jimmy Winfrey, aka Pee Wee Roscoe, was gonna go to trial, and there was some RICO involved in that case back then with a whole bunch of other ish. The media was writing it up that he did this shooting to gain status in the gang, etc., etc. Which is kind of wild when the media has been covering all this even back then, like putting it right in print that Young Thug and all these individuals didn't fall back and, play it safe. Like we just saw earlier, Wallow 267 had been told Young Thug, like were putting this on the media. Prosecutors were talking about it. It was all over the place. It wasn't like some secret narrative, some secret thing they were peeping. You know what I mean? It was a narrative that was being put out publicly, and you just kept moving how you were moving. It's kind of sloppy, right? But while Roscoe was in jail, Birdman and him had some kind of conversation where, there was a recording that said, hey, come get your money, which, they were saying was being tied to the shooting. I don't know how Birdman ever managed to not get charged in it at all in any ways, but Pee Wee Roscoe ended up taking a plea to 10 years. A bunch of different charges got deaded, some RICO-ish and all that. And, that was the end of it until he appealed the case and basically said, hey, the judge threatened me. The judge told me, I was coerced into taking this plea, that I would be punished if I didn't take the plea. I'd get did dirty, violated by the court, and basically they would put him up under the jail or do whatever they could, and it worked. Like the appeal went through, he got out. He was in jail for a while, but he got out, what was that, back in November of 2020. There was all kinds of wild allegations flying around too. There was word, that Young Thug and some of YSL had got to individuals, within the legal process and, was coercing them to push the case in their favor, all kinds of ish. Like I said, this is really stuff that plays out of a movie. But in the end, after taking that plea, getting all those other charges deaded, the appeal works, he gets out, and here we are now, this RICO, and essentially it's almost like Pee Wee Roscoe is going to be charged. I mean, I'm not saying it's double jeopardy, but you know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, we beat this guy. He took the plea. Oh, he beat us. He appealed. He's out. Now they're like, well, hell, whether we get you for that exact incident, that shooting, which I believe is named in the indictment, not 100%, but either way, they're like, we're going to get your ass. We're going to have the last laugh. Like, ain't this whole series of events over the years, the way it's transpired, straight up crazy? Like, the more and more, like, I've fucked with Young Thug. I've liked his music. I've followed his career. But a lot of this ish, wasn't so fresh in my mind. And the more you look into this, you're really like, yo, this was some straight up gangster ish going on. Allegedly. This is some straight up ish out of some gangster movies. And I wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the future, somewhere down the road, we see the Young Slime Life, blood gang, crime drama story, whether it be in a movie or in a series on Hulu or some ish, like the Wu-Tang show or something, But it's just kind of crazy when you look at it, where we are now, all those events, you know what I'm saying? Think of that, to be charged with a shooting, to take a plea, to win an appeal, and then to be hit with a RICO, pretty much back in square one. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's what the authorities were coming with back then. Yo, he's trying to gain status in the gang. That's why he shot up Weezy's tour bus. He's been a part of all kinds of ish. Again, there was some RICO statutes that were active back then. It's just all wild, but it's a story that has been playing out for all these years. And once again, guys, comment and let me know if you think that, they were sloppy as fuck to not be happy with the fact that they were able to evade law enforcement all that time and just say, okay, this is a W for us. We're getting money in the rap game. We're not locked up. Let's get the fuck out of Georgia. Let's get the fuck out of Atlanta. Let's change things up. Let's go vibe it out somewhere else. Like hell, where's Kanye got? What is that? Wyoming? Like let's go to some secluded area and make ish lit there. Set ish up there. But chill out, not get into any kind of violence or any stuff like that. Like we stacked our chips, we did our thing, we're free. Let's go have fun. But things played out differently, I guess, I don't know. But that's all I got on this one, guys. Tap in, comment with your thoughts on all this. The Lil Wayne tour bus shooting. How the fuck did Birdman stay up out of the mix with all this? Hell, we know he's really tight with Whack 100. Maybe he's got some federally ties or some government type ish going on himself. I don't know. I'm just fucking around, or maybe I'm not. But let's talk about it all below. And once again, let's end this with the rest of that court footage or court audio. And again, what do you guys think about this? Them trying to get the attorney up off the case. Y'all think he's a part of YSL? Like Levy and The Wire? Or what? Thanks for watching. Sub to the channel. Hit the bell. Stay tuned. More content coming. Music, news, sports, and more. Definitely updates on this case. And I'm gone.
Anything, Attorney Steele?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Your Honor, I do represent Mr. Williams. I've entered, or should be entered, an appearance as counsel. My understanding from Uniform Superior Court Rule 26.1H, as in Hillary, that at the first appearance this honorable court shall consider bond if the offense is not one that is bondable only by a Superior Court judge. I heard what you said as well, but the offense here is Mr. Williams is only indicted on count 56 and count 1, which is a criminal street gang activity and a conspiracy to commit racketeering. And both of those, I believe, are within your breast to set bond, and I would like bond to be heard by your honorable court. As far as conflict, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Thank you. And certainly, go ahead, Attorney Steele. I want to make sure I hear you out.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you. And as far as the conflict, Mr. Geary, as well as District Attorney Willis, have explained that to me, and I believe that if they file the right motion, a hearing will be held. And under the law, this is not an actual conflict of interest. It is a potential conflict of interest which can be waived, and I believe that will happen.
All right, thank you. Attorney Steele, I certainly understand. And if I were sitting solely as a magistrate, I believe you would be correct with the stating of the law itself. But as I am sitting as Superior Court Fulton County delegated judge, there is a specific delegation order for which I am operating under that indicates that the authority to set bail is simply not delegated for any case, regardless of the charges involved, that has been indicted and assigned to the docket of the Superior Court judge. And that is the order in which I am following. And so because I am doing so, I'm not at liberty to do a bond unless I have some additional authority to do so. And at this time, I do not. So unfortunately, you will have to submit your motion for a bond directly to the Superior Court judge that is handling this case, which is Judge Earl Glanville. So
I will do it, Your Honor.
Right, certainly. So the order of the court on today is that he's been put on notice. He's not gotten a first appearance in that particular situation because he is indicted. He is not subject just to a warrant, and it was not a warrantless arrest. So that is where we stand at this time. Mr. Williams, I'm sure your attorney will reach out to you and give you further indication of what needs to happen in your case.